Grand Rising. It's time to inspire people to become healthy. And we're moving to a new place for society. We're working on our wellness in all three phases. This is a staple of our channel and community. And yesterday, Robert Kennedy gave a speech that highlighted many important points. And as we move forward as a society, we need to see new leadership. We need to see true leadership. And you might be living your everyday life and you say, you know what, we as a society, we have to become healthier. Our wellness, it's not only our physical well-being, but it comes from the mental and spiritual as well. So there was a lot of important points. And when it comes to core beliefs, that's actually a part of today's very important, powerful message. We're just getting the live stream started. As you're coming in, please hit the like button. It helps others hear this very powerful message today. And I'm going to be breaking down a lot of energy themes that maybe you are experiencing. When you look at true leadership, we're going to be breaking this down because there's a lot of people that are going to be joining this live stream. You are actually going to be a leader as we move forward. So we have to understand what true leadership is all about, and really, you know, coming together and not being taken advantage of is one of the main points that I'm going to bring forth in the beginning of today's very powerful message. You know, you might be at the workplace. You might say, oh, I want to do something in society, but you might have been held back. And suppression, when our voice is suppressed, I mean, wasn't that a major problem over the past few years? A lot of people's voices were suppressed. And that was one of the first things that Robert Kennedy put forth in his speech. And we're going to utilize that as a teaching tool. You might be suppressed. You might be taken advantage of in the workplace, in your club or community, right? So we have to look at this as an example and move forward so that you have self-worth, self-respect, and that's what Robert Kennedy shared in the beginning of that message. And how we're moving forward, you know, chronic health. You have to know your core beliefs and values. And where are we moving as a society? Okay, chronic disease, very important. Free speech, government corruption, and the war on our children. Okay, children's health, and we're going to be discussing about that. What is the food? What are the chemicals that are in the foods that are given not only to our children, but to all people in society? And that's something that we've been discussing. You know, you have to eat on a daily basis. We have to drink clean water, have healthy food. And these are actually relevant, relevant and important points that all people, it's their basic life needs for basic life functions. So let's get back to the basics. I appreciate you. If you're just stumbling in, please hit the like button. And if today's message resonates for you, why don't you hit the subscribe button? We have daily videos, 9 a.m. Eastern time, to help you become the greatest version of yourself in all three phases: physically, mentally, and spiritually. And one of the main things that he discussed is reforming the entire food system. You know, you might be getting this message. You say, you know what, like it is a struggle. You know, on my journey, I talk about my wellness, and the most important thing is it's not only just working out, but going to the supermarket and actually just go in the supermarket and pick up some healthy food. It is unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable how difficult that is. If you're experiencing that, let us know down below in the comments. Robert Kennedy had to leave the Democratic Party. He departed from that party because the party departed from core values. You know, he discussed like how certain things were years ago and how things have changed. You know, the polls showed that he would have easily beaten Biden in a primary. And if he went head to head with Biden in a primary, he probably would have won. But he was suppressed, and he was not allowed to have open and fair debate with Biden. So that was something that he discussed, and he discussed how the DNC sabotaged the signed petitions that he had, like a million signed petitions. And he got up and he left the Democratic Party. What this represents is a major change that a lot of people, you might be getting this message. Valerie, thank you so much for that, Valerie. You are tired of narcissistic abuse. Is that you? Are you on this live chat? We could be, I don't want to use the word victim, but we could have narcissistic abuse in the workplace, from our clubs, right? So as we move forward, which we're going to see as we go through this message today, the future is not going to be based on political parties, and we're actually witnessing it dissolve. Okay, and he discussed like how working with President Trump, unity party, where people can have open and fair debate, and we're not all supposed to agree on everything. I've shared about this on my channel a long time ago, and I talk about the actual laws of the universe, universal laws, and one of them is the law of 80-20. So if you're tuned in, a lot of people are tuned into this channel on a daily basis, and if you resonate with 80% or more of my messages and what I have to share, that's a great thing. And we're not all supposed to be exactly the same, the carbon copies of the world. So with the problem in society is if you don't follow everything, people are very quick to censor. Censorship was a big part of this talk as well. Agent Johnny Red, I appreciate you. Hey, Uncle Mike, listening to RFK was powerful. Yes, pro-freedom. Do you think, yeah. I think that as we move forward, and what we're seeing, as we'll talk later, the unification, everyone like kind of has this whole like, I'm red, I'm blue, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican. But what we started to see play out is a unification, which is so important. And we don't want to be divided. We want to actually come together with real life solutions for real life problems, right? And not just trying to fit in. Well, if you're part of this club, if you're part of this party, you have to do all of these things. And I've shared this before. You can see people, and they're going to say, well, if you're going to be part of this party, you have to agree with all of these things. And if not, you're no good, right? That's that sense of society has to leave, and it's leaving right now. Well, he discussed how there is an individual that was appointed to represent the Democratic Party, never won one delegate. Isn't that interesting? That's a selected individual. So the person that was, if you're following along, Joe Biden isn't going to run. So someone was appointed. And this individual didn't receive one vote, one delegate vote, Robert Kennedy expressed. So, he was totally shunned, and he had what was called self-respect. When I look at true leadership, when I look at the true leaders of this new world as we move forward, we're going to see people, hit the like button if this resonates with you, we're going to see people that have self-respect. On my journey, if I wasn't receiving respect, I'm not going to go along with the narcissist. I'm not going to go along. Okay, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. I'm going to stand up for my core values. Core values is so important. You have to know thyself. A lot of people don't know thyself. All right, so this is a really important message when we look at everyday life, like how these changes are coming to fruition. So what are the core values? Chronic disease is so important, as he shared. Free speech, have you ever been censored? Let us know in the comments. How does that make you feel? So even though when we talk about chronic disease, and sometimes, as he was discussing, it's the food. Well, what is emotion? It's energy in motion. So when you are suppressed, when you're not allowed to have free speech, that could make yourself sick. There's a doctor, his name is Dr. Gabor. You should check him out. He's on YouTube. And he says, if you are not able to live in authenticity, the body will become sick. It's a terrible thing. So free speech is actually very important for our everyday life. And that's one of his focus. Okay, free speech, government corruption, nonsensical wars. Like a lot of people, you might be an empath. Are you an empath? And you're tuned into this world famous channel. If you're an empath, you don't want to see these nonsensical wars anymore, okay? And especially what's been going on with our children. Food safety and the corruption of FDA is something that he wants to take a look at and focus on. We have to focus on these things. You have to realize this, and I bring forth a lot of science as well. You are a collection of cells. You're trillions of cells, and your cells are being replaced all day long. So you might be getting this message and you're not realizing that the importance of the food that you eat. It is literally one of the most important things. The food that you eat is so important. Ohio Heart of the USA, I appreciate you. 144, ready? Seals opened. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. So this is something that we have to look at. Chronic disease and the food that we're eating. And, he brought forth a lot of interesting stats. And he said 50 years ago, 1% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, approximately 66% of Americans have chronic disease. How is that even possible? How is that possible? So we have a society, we have our brothers and sisters, right, that need support. Chronic disease. Chronic means it's every day. Chronic. Sometimes we have injuries and stuff. I talk about, Dr. Bruce Lipton, the 3 T's, the toxins, the trauma, and the thoughts, right? A lot of people are having negative thoughts. One of the things in society, there is a loneliness epidemic. Do you want a full video on the loneliness epidemic? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll discuss that as well. So we went from 1% to 66%. 50%, he shared 50% of child obesity, while in other countries like Japan, it's only 3%. How is it possible? Children, and this is something in the world that we've known over the course of time. When you're younger, you're supposed to be healthier. And then over time, these things happen. How is it possible that 50% of our children are obese? And how is this happening? These are the things that must be addressed, because the next generation, that's where we're going. We're always passing it forward. I talk about mentorship. That's something that I've done over the course of my journey. We're always passing it forward. So we're seeing this as we step back, and unification is very important. So he brought forth a lot of important things, and it's so important that we work with unity. Not thinking, and this is something I've shared for many times, if you think of Democrat or Republican, you're lost. Hit the like button if that is resonating with you. If you're still thinking Democrat or Republican, you're lost as we move forward. You're lost. Okay? And it is a world, a world of duality. This is playing out a certain way. A lot of you know it, and it must be played out this way. There are different levels of consciousness across the world right now. Okay, if you're new to the channel, you check out the channel page, you look at the levels of consciousness, and there's different levels of how we are aware. It has to play out a certain way, because a lot of people in the world, they're very busy with their jobs, and they don't understand what's totally going on. Okay, we got a lot of light coming in right now. We got the light coming in. So it is playing out, but is a dissolving. It is dissolving of political parties. So what you're going to see as we move forward, it's going to be like, okay, I'm Bobby, and I'm here to, and I don't represent a party. Bobby's running, Donald's running, whatever it is, and it's not going to be I'm representing this party. It's just going to be people. It's going to be people that are representing their ideas, and enough of the duality. A lot of people know about duality. So this is a great representation of how duality is dissolving. And when we see people that are aligning, it's not about, you have a Democrat, quote unquote, and Republican working together, but it's not going to be that way any longer. Midge, I appreciate you. Lost Matrix job yesterday, epic synchronicity based around it, absolutely. So y'all smashing the like button allowed this to happen naturally. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Smash the like button. It allows this to happen naturally. And yeah, we all kind of went through that shake up, Midge. It's something we had a full discussion in our Patreon community on Zoom. You know, so many people and jobs are so important. You say, why are jobs so important, Uncle Mike? Because when you think about how much time that you spend, we're leaving jobs and we're going into vocation. You could write that down. You got to think about that moving forward because your overall health is going to be dependent on that. We're leaving jobs and we're moving forward to vocation. And when you do that, you're beyond motivated. You're driven. You're driven to do these things. So we're seeing unification. Okay. And one thing that was mentioned that is like I find these things it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that in the world, as society, this is what it's come to, and we're awake and aware of things. So a lot of you know a lot of money is spent on nonsensical wars, right? And you could write it in the comments if you're sick and tired of all these wars. All right, and let's like we as humans, we got to live peacefully, and so think about all of the funds to build bombs and tanks and all this stuff, the funds. And he shared chronic disease spending is doubled the military budget. Chronic disease, that's the people themselves. Chronic disease is it's a terrible thing that's been going on. And the budget for chronic disease is doubled out of the military. So, you know, to think about the importance of health and wellness for people, it's so important, and it really is the main focus of where we have to go as a society moving forward. So that was something that was important. You know, he later in the evening, he went to the Trump rally, and they discussed together, and what was discussed is releasing the documents of JFK's assassination. You know, a lot of people have questions. You know, you question everything. A lot of people still want to know what happened to President John F. Kennedy. Do you want to know about that? Let us know in the comments down below. And President Trump discussed safe food and water and healthy children. And these are the things that they're going to work on together. We don't want chemicals in our food. All right. And this is something that, you know, we're busy. You know, the typical household is busy, you know, and they go to the store and they didn't have the time to research these things because it's constantly go, go, go. When you go to the supermarket, and you might see this as well, if you don't come in with awareness to the supermarket, you could be totally lost. Chemicals here, chemicals there, chemicals everywhere. And, you know, on my journey, you know, I'm a person of health, nutrition, and wellness. And I put a lot of effort and energy to be aware of what I'm putting in my body. And it's almost like this is a matrix. When you go to the supermarket, it's literally like a matrix of you have to navigate things to try to find in the supermarket actual healthy options, mind you, the bills are through the roof. I saw someone post on Facebook yesterday, 2 red onions cost us $7. Like, you know, you want to get healthy food, and it's like it costs you, you know, so much money to just have some basic things. So there is a call. There's got to be a rapid change, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So sometimes we get to the precipice, right? There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on the world, but great leaders are rising right now. And the leadership that is required, new leadership is about transparency. And one of the things that he shared that I resonate with, okay, and the things that were unfair while he's doing and sharing the way that things are supposed to be, it's very bright. You know, he shared how he gives daily interviews. He's available daily. That's what we do on this channel. I make sure, and that's why I respect that. Every single day, I make sure that I'm available, right? 9 a.m. Eastern, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that. 9 a.m. Eastern. Let's make the world a better place. Let's improve at least by 1% every single day. Let's take out the accountability mirror and let's do better. But he shared how he makes himself available for interviews every single day. And an individual that was selected, right, appointed, doesn't make one interview. So I find that very interesting. And this can't go on. So there are people, which he also discussed, they say like it's time to vote. They don't know they literally don't know who they're voting for. So transparency has to be a way of the future. And I feel strongly about that. You know, doing what I do, you know, you come across so many people, and the way that people present themselves, say on TV, right, is not who they truthfully are. Okay, one of the things of society right now, I worked with children, you know, we're really focused on the children. And I saw how they suffered with their mental health because of social media. And the problem with social media right now, people present themselves the way that they want the world to see them and not how they actually are. So we see children looking at these people and oh, this is how I have to do, and they see things that aren't real, and it puts a lot of stress on their mental health. Kennedy discussed how the foods that the children are fed, it's a systematic poisoning of our children, he called it. A systematic poisoning of the children. On my journey years ago, when I worked in the public school, and a lot of my coworkers did the same thing, you would go into the lunchroom, and the smell, what a disgrace. They're feeding our children these things. Are you a school teacher? Are you noticing this as well? You ever go in the lunchroom? Parents, go in the lunchroom. See what's going on. Check it out. These are your children, right? So what is the food? It can't, like, bottom line, it can't smell this way. And all of our coworkers, they say the same thing. I can't go in the lunchroom. I can't smell it. And this is fed, and it's under the guise of, oh, they could get free lunch. So one of the problems is, you know, it's under the guise of, if you really want to assist people, then give them healthy stuff. Instead of the money, which he talked about, the corruption, instead of the money going to corruption, how about you actually give the children actual real food? That is, so as we move forward, real issues have real solutions. So, and I know there's a lot of people in general, they're tired. You might be sick and tired. You're sick and tired of corruption. Things haven't moved forward. But we have to move forward with solutions. We need transparency. We need people. We need new leadership. And it's going to come in many forms. So, you know, like, for example, you could see, you know, Donald Trump and RFK on stage. And moving forward in the new earth, it doesn't matter who the quote-unquote actual, like, head leader is. We're all leaders. We all have a say. This is where we're headed. So just because, say, this person is not the actual president, we have to work as a team. And that's what they're showing the people. We need real, authentic people to actually get real leadership positions. I talk about your new leadership role. If you're new to the channel, and I talk about the energy themes that God has shared to me, your new leadership position, you should check out that video on the channel page. A lot of you know it's biblical times, but it's an exciting time. And don't fall into the fear. Don't fall into the fear. Don't fall into the guilt. We are moving, because what happens is the narcissistic energy. Do you know about the narcissistic energy? It's trying to suppress. You could see this maybe when you share something, and you could see people come in to slander you. You know, RFK shared, he went on for a while how he was slandered for his stances on certain things, and he listed how, you know, and he gave detailed information on how, you know, he wants all families to be in a safer position, and that's a good thing. And free choice is so important. So you could choose, you want to choose this, you want to choose, okay, but let's have transparency and let's actually have protection for our families. So overall, it was an inspiring, it was actually beyond a speech. It was actually a trifecta yesterday. So did you happen to catch this speech, and how did it make you feel? And we are seeing as a society the way of the old way, the way of the world in the past, it needs to come apart. And by coming apart, we're also seeing people come together. So we all need to come together, and that is a representation. A lot of people, you're learning that we are entering a new world, a new earth, if you will. People are coming together, and there's new options, and everyone has to have free choice and free will. And when you think about these things, and you have to see, when I see a leader that, and you have respect for these things, you cannot, a lot of people are tired of the old narcissistic energy. You might be suppressed in the workplace. You might be suppressed in a group or a club or a cult. He had the guts to walk away. Sometimes we say this is our identity. I am this political party. I am that religion. You are who you are. So remember who you are. And it was inspiring to hear that speech, because everyone needs to hear that. You might be in a spiritual community, right? Whatever it might be, a political community. And you have ideas and you're not being heard, and you might be censored or held back. Have the courage to be authentic. Have the courage to walk away. And as I shared about the narcissist, you know about the narcissistic energy? It comes in many forms. Have the courage to give them your absence. Walk away, have self-respect, because when you do that, you become bigger than that whatever system that you walked away from. In this new energy, you're actually going to become bigger than the entire thing. So I hope it inspires you. Let us know in the comments, okay, what inspired you most from his speech yesterday, and your core values. Do you want to get rid of chronic disease? Do you want free speech? Do you want to get rid of corruption? And do you want to defend our children? You got to defend those that cannot defend themselves. Society is judged by how they treat their most vulnerable. Some of you remember that. Hughes, I appreciate you. Hughes, thank you so much. Love to all. Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate you. It's my honor to keep you motivated and inspired. If you're new to the channel, I'm Michael, and I talk about the ascension journey, and I make it relevant to everyday life people. We are ascending. We are becoming higher vibrational people, and as we do this, the old ways have to leave and the new has to shine. And we go through this change, and everyone is kind of going through this change right now. So I take everyday life examples and I make them relevant to you. So I appreciate you. If today's message resonates with you, why don't you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We have daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time, and I help motivate you and help you improve your life in all three phases: physically, mentally, and spiritually. We don't have to be perfect, but all we need to do is improve at least 1% per day. And by the end of this year and moving forward, you are going to become the best version of yourself. Have self-respect. Get rid of people, as we see in today's lesson. Get rid of people. Get rid of clubs. Get rid of things that don't resonate with you, that hold you back. It's time for you to shine bright like a diamond. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's stay focused on our core beliefs, right? My core beliefs: consistency, resiliency, authenticity. Authenticity is the most high. We need authenticity in this world. Enough of the fake, enough of the artificial. Let's be authentic. I love you all. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. Jennifer Rodriguez, I appreciate you, Jennifer. Beautiful message today. Thank you. It's my honor, Jennifer. I love you so much. I really appreciate all of you, all your support. It has been authentic, and it goes through the people. The more you hit the like button, the more you share. We're growing every single day. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I'll continue to show up every day. Love you all. Keep going, kid.